Greetings folks, Dunman here, and today I'm going to be bursting one of the greatest conspiracy theories of our world wide open. Now our story begins in a very remote part of the world, in an advanced laboratory, where some rather unusual experiments were being done on ducks. Little did they know at the time that what they were doing would lead to, let's just say it, catastrophe. Everything went nipples up and head straight to hell when the laboratory was struck by lightning, and any toddler who can tell his hand from a family of worms will tell you that when struck by lightning, pigs turn into pigmen, villagers turn into witches. But this was the first time for ducks. Usually science experiments on animals just give them sad, lifelong illnesses. But there's that 1 in a million time where we create monsters. Most of this video is credited to our brave camera crew who put their own lives at risk in order to film this for us. The mission of our cameraman today was to infiltrate the laboratory of the Quacklings. A very normal looking house sits in a meadow. It's anything but normal. After fiddling around with some weird roof nonsense, our brave cameraman finally finds a secret entrance, a gateway to the unknown, a doorway to the absurd. We have to praise the cameraman for keeping his composure after encountering such unusual circumstances. Not many men would have been able to stay so calm in the situation he was in. But you have to wonder where the line between bravery and stupidity is. Because what kind of man splashes himself in the face with mysterious chemicals after entering a laboratory of a weird duck demon? Now that we know that our hero has just thrown caution to the wind, he instantly gets into the minecart and goes on a roller coaster ride, which was quite enjoyable in hindsight actually. But there he is, finally truly inside the lion's den. Or should I say, the duck's pond. The Quackling Laboratory is gigantic. It's a marvel of modern technology, and somehow a spectacle of modern art and architecture at the same time. Inspiring. Now here's the thing, the Quacklings, despite being super intelligent creatures born of extremely advanced science and the actual supernatural, are almost completely blind and deaf, and we haven't quite confirmed this one, have a subpar sense of smell. It speaks volumes about the average villager that this is the secret race of beings controlling their entire society. More on this in a moment. As you can see here, our brave cameraman has somehow managed to infiltrate the Quackling living quarters. After introducing himself to the receptionist, because what the hell is he gonna do, our cameraman takes a look at some form of advanced communications system. After that, our cameraman climbed up the stairs and was able to snag some beautiful footage of the Quackling living quarters. The rooms are colorful but simple. These creatures are definitely well endowed in class. Every part of their small yet advanced civilization is absolutely tasteful. No other word for it. Also, the double beds in each room signify that most of these creatures have true love, unlike most of you watching. Then the brave cameraman got distracted because of an upside down shelter or something, I don't know. The most interesting part of the laboratory so far though was definitely this weird room, which is the only way we can describe it. The corridor was gigantic. It had this little turtle pond place inside which our cameraman decided to take a dip with expensive camera equipment for some reason, and a winding passageway which was very confusing because of the cake symbol. You would think it would be cakes, right? You would be correct, of course, except for one very important detail. Moist cakes. It was like hell, just a crazy amount of cakes, all just slobbered in water. Disgusting. So of course our legendary protagonist gets out of that passageway because my god, I cannot subject my viewers to any more of that. But somehow this is where we get to our most absurd part. At the end of the passageway was this giant room with many quacklings You know, just hanging out. Also, the cameraman spotted a lever just to the right of him and decided to pull it because why not? This man does not care about his life or anyone else's. After displaying some subpar, mediocre parkour skills, our cameraman gets to the lever, pulls it, nothing happens, and then he gets outmaneuvered by what is essentially a deaf, blind beanbag. The second time, however, when he pulls the lever, something happens. A large waterfall in the room begins to drop, revealing a room that is even more confusing, the purpose of which is borderline impossible to guess. Meanwhile, I'd like to implore you, dear viewer, to please subscribe. We are so close to 5,000 and I'd really like to hit it before the year ends. Please subscribe. Cameraman then went to the little slime house that was behind there and just, oh my god. Yoink! Time to get out of here! Alright, dear audience, here we are. Time to talk about how the Quacklings control our entire civilization. Hold on to your tinfoil hats. You see, the Quackling laboratory is a cascading maze, full of rooms, the purposes of which are impossible to tell, full of things that are just beyond our imaginations. But there's a part of the lab that we really wanted to reach, because we theorized that they were holding something there that was world-changing. And apparently, our theories were about to be proved right. Behind multiple layers of security, which as you can see our cameraman surpassed without any difficulties, there was some sort of underground deposit of green stuff, which we just chose to ignore because the other thing is way more interesting. Now what you see on screen is absolutely shocking. An end crystal. Here's how that's a problem for everyone watching, and the world economy at large. You see, there's certain systems that we follow. Coal, for example, is extremely necessary to keep the Minecraft world's economy going. Coal is used for everything. Making food, making certain blocks, smelting resources. It's the most efficient fuel we have. And the greatest utility is smelting iron for iron golems, who stand as the greatest bit of protection between villagers and villagers. If through the ender crystal they're able to create renewable energy, that means coal is no longer needed, which means the value of the emerald will collapse. And if that happens, catastrophe breaks out. There's no more iron golems. Raiding will increase tenfold. Villages will no longer be able to function internally. So essentially what I'm saying is the Quacklings hold in their hands the key to extreme chaos worldwide. What could they be thinking? What could possibly be their plan? If they do suddenly give the entire world a renewable fuel source, then the world's economy will collapse. If they don't do this, the world will be kept from making any progress. Who leads the Quacklings? Do they believe in our great protector Mike the Messiah? All of these questions still remain unanswered. But still, we thank the brave cameraman who single-handedly delivered us these tapes and helped us make this totally real documentary explaining the sad state of reality. Thank you, cameraman. If I was a viewer, what I would do is subscribe to say thank you. And that's the conspiracy of the Quacklings. Unless they're just using the end crystal to make a weapon. Then we'd have a much bigger problem on our hands.